Hare Krishna. The best time to win the battle against temptation is before it begins. When we practice spiritual life, we enter into a war against temptation. The temptation to enjoy matter. The arena where this war happens is our own consciousness. And the contending forces in this war are the desire to enjoy, the desire to serve Krishna, which is the desire that we are cultivating right now, and the desire to enjoy matter, which keeps popping up into our consciousness, either from our past conditionings, or from our present circumstances, or from a combination of both. Now, in this war, between the desire to serve and the desire to enjoy, whichever desire we focus on, that desire becomes stronger and eventually becomes victorious. So, why would we focus on any particular desire? That is largely determined by how we direct our need for pleasure. We are all innately pleasure-seeking creatures, and when we dwell on sense objects. So now, for example, the desire to serve Krishna prompts us to think about Krishna. The desire to enjoy matter prompts us to think about material sense objects. So when we think about when we dwell on the material sense objects, then that cuts us off from higher sources of happiness, especially the highest source of happiness, that is remembrance of Krishna. And naturally then our need for pleasure pushes us to seek it elsewhere. And because we are already thinking about the sense objects, they are already in the perimeter of our consciousness, so they seem to be a readily available source of pleasure. And as we start considering indulging in those sense objects, then the desire to enjoy hikes up. And then with the desire to enjoy strengthened, then for the desire to serve, to fight against that desire and to win becomes much more difficult. So if we are to win the war against temptation, it's far better that we don't let this desire to enjoy become stronger. So it's, for example, if there are soldiers who are fighting defending a particular territory, and for them it is much better to keep watchful guard and prevent the enemy soldiers from penetrating into the territory. But suppose if the enemy soldiers have already penetrated into the territory, take position and start firing, and after that to fire back and to counter those soldiers is a far more difficult task. Similarly, once the temptations enter into our consciousness and start shooting at us, that means start seducing us with the desires to enjoy and start wounding our desire to serve Krishna, then it is much more difficult to win the war, win that particular battle in the war also. So that's why the Bhagavad Gita tells us that it is best to control the sense objects right from the beginning, to control all the sense objects thoroughly, so that no tempting desire can slip in. Tasmad yasya mahabaho nigrahitani sarvashah indriyani indriyarthebhyas tasya pragya pratishtita. So the Bhagavad Gita 2.68 says, Tasmad yasya mahabaho, tasmad, therefore, mahabaho, greatly powerful one, nigrahitani sarvashah, control all the sense objects. Control all the senses. Indriyarthebhyas, indriyan, senses, and the sense objects, control them. Indriyarthebhyas, tasya pragya pratishtita. Therefore, one who does this is wisely situated. His intelligence is strong. So essentially Krishna is telling to thoroughly control the sense objects, to thoroughly control the senses. and to avoid contact between the senses and the sense objects. Now, the best way to implement such sense control, such thorough sense control, is by cultivating absorption in Krishna. When we strive to think about Krishna, serve Krishna, remember Krishna, uh, then our consciousness becomes filled with Krishna, and then the temptations don't get room to come in, to enter and entice. Thus we can not only, moreover, because we are conscious of Krishna, and Krishna is all attractive, so that contact with Krishna strengthens our desire to serve. So we don't allow the desire to enjoy to gain strength. On the other hand, the desire to serve gains strength. And thus, not only can we safely survive in the battle against temptation, but we can swiftly march towards victory by steadily increasing our devotion to Krishna and our attraction to Him, our love for Him. Thank you. Hare Krishna.